Summertime in Edmonton. When our river valley blooms and our canopy of Dutch elm trees blanket the city. There's so much to do in Edmonton in summer. But, whether you love it or not, no other event or festival seems as popular as K-Days. A 10-day-long exhibition of rides, music, and so much more. While most people understand why, or rather how it came to be that K-Days is called what it is, the name alone would be enough to make newcomers to Edmonton scratch their heads. What does the K in K-Days stand for? It's a valid question, especially for those who have no knowledge of the history of the festival. Well, if you look at the K-Days website, you'll actually find that there is no mention of why it's named what it is. The exhibition itself started way back in 1879, under the simple name, the Edmonton Exhibition. The festival was mainly an agricultural fair, featured livestock, crops, and local carpentry and handiwork. Back then, it took place in autumn, not summer, and the first year it was held, it attracted 500 people. Not bad considering the population of Edmonton at the time was only 148. It was held regularly thereafter. By 1910, Edmonton's population reached around 24,000, and the Edmonton Exhibition had become a summer festival, reaching 40,000 attendees a year. It was in that year that the fair was first hosted at a location where it's been ever since, Northlands. Let's fast forward 52 years to 1962. The exhibition's attendance has surpassed 400,000 people, and it's adopted a new name. If you're a little older, or know someone who is, it's not uncommon to hear K-Days referred to as the X, or going to the X, because it wasn't all that long ago where it was simply referred to as the Exhibition. But in 1962, this changed. It donned the name Klondike Days. And Klondike Days had an unofficial nickname that many Edmontonians called it for short, K-Days. Officially, Klondike Days was a tribute to Edmonton's history as a gateway to the north during the gold rush of the late 1800s. And that's not a lie. Back in the 1890s, the town was buzzing with the prospect of heading north to strike it rich. We certainly do have ties to the gold rush. But there are those who believe the name was chosen for perhaps another reason, or at least a secondary reason. Because of the success of the Calgary Stampede. The Calgary Stampede has been an annual event since way back in 1923. You don't have to like the cowboy and rodeo theme of the exhibition belonging to our rival city, but you have to admit, it's one that they embrace with open arms.
Come on, it's our Stampede. Let's go!
Wearing boots, jeans, and a cowboy hat to their annual fair is an act of pride for many. And tons of Albertans, and people beyond, get into the spirit every year. The Stampede is a thing of celebration for many in Calgary. I mean, just look at the name of their football team. It's hard to tie that type of identity to a fair simply called the Edmonton Exhibition. So, Klondike Days made sense. Regardless of whether or not the Calgary Stampede had anything to do with it, the fact was Edmonton now had a theme to go along with its summer carnival. And they also had a mascot. Klondike Mike was erected in the years following the name change. While maybe not quite to the same degree as our neighbors in Calgary, Edmonton's theme was well received, with many people celebrating it, dressing up in 1890s attire and panning for gold in Klondike Park. The name Klondike Days was used for 44 years, until it was decided that enough was enough? Someone decided that no one liked the name Klondike Days. Sure, people weren't dressing up and celebrating the theme as much as other exhibitions in this province, but there certainly wasn't some mass public opinion that the name was bad. The festival was still breaking attendance records every few years. It was as popular as ever, more so even. But that didn't stop those in charge. To quote one of the directors associated with the exhibition, Klondike Days was a name that the vast majority of Edmontonians thought was outdated and didn't reflect the vibrancy and energy of this community, a theme that virtually nobody participated in. Wow. With such harsh words, you know that there must have been a stellar theme coming from organizers. A theme that would knock our socks off, a theme that would scream Edmonton. And then it was announced. The name Klondike Days was dropped to make way for capital X. Yep, creative minds were flown in from around the world to come up with a name that basically says, "This is an exhibition in the capital city of Alberta."
Bueller?
Great, awesome. So we obviously now had a name and a theme which adequately reflected the vibrancy and energy of Edmonton. Except, how do you celebrate capital X? Organizers had criticized Klondike Days as a theme because no one participated in it. So their solution was to create a new name that had no theme at all? In the first year using the new name, capital X saw a 15% drop in attendance. Of course, organizers doubled down on their name. They simply blamed hot weather for the attendance issues, because no one likes to go to outdoor festivals in hot weather. But year after year, attendance never once reached that of the last year where the fair used the name Klondike Days. Organizers could only deny the name capital X wasn't working for so long. So, after only 6 years of using it, it was announced that a new name would be chosen. They would leave it up to Edmontonians to decide, with the Name Your Fair contest. It invited Edmontonians to submit new names for the festival. In the end, only 6 submissions were selected, and Edmontonians were invited to vote from the following names. First, the fair's original name, used from 1867 to 1961, the Edmonton Exhibition. Also on the ballot were Edfest, River City Festival, River Summer Fair, Edmonton Summer Exhibition, and of course, Klondike Days was not included on the ballot. Organizers' name change to capital X was an obvious failure. There were the attendance issues, but the name itself was bland, it was boring, it didn't even have a theme, and people would still refer to the festival as Klondike Days. So in order to save face by not seeing the name switch right back to what they decided Edmontonians didn't want, the organizers themselves purposely did not include the name Klondike Days on the ballot, despite a large number of people suggesting that they submitted it to the contest. Instead, probably to balance their complete embarrassment versus what Edmontonians actually wanted, they included Klondike Days' old unofficial nickname, K-Days. Of course, K-Days won by a landslide, with the exhibition's original name coming in second. It seems that the organizer's statement that Klondike Days was a name that the vast majority of Edmontonians thought was outdated was nothing but a crock of mini donuts. After the name K-Days won, Richard Anderson with Northlands was quoted as saying, "I think we've got a great opportunity to do something with the name K-Days. I promise you this, it's going to be great, it's going to be something people will really resonate with." And what exactly that is, who knows? There was talk about doing different K themes every year, which never happened. And now it's just K-Days. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure many people, including myself, are way happier with K-Days than the name capital X. But even today, organizers refuse to acknowledge the blunder or admit what K-Days means to most people. And even though I'm sure the question, what does the K in K-Days stand for, is one of the most frequently asked questions about the festival, certainly from people new to it, there is nothing at all about the name on the website's FAQ section. And it's not like this information isn't available. If you look on the Wayback Machine, Klondike Days' old website from back in 2005 proudly displayed all of the history of the event. No matter how much organizers like to dance around it, we all know the truth. So, the next time you visit one of Edmonton's most popular summer events, look up and give a nod to Klondike Mike. He'll stand guard as you pan for gold in Klondike Park and take a spin on the Klondike Express. And remember what the K on all those signs really stands for. Edmonton's own 151-year-old summer exhibition, Klondike Days. What do you think? Do you miss the name Klondike Days? Do you wish they just changed it back already? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel, give us a share and a like. These things really help us out. And why not check out one of our other videos? Mostly about the greatest indoor show on earth, West Edmonton Mall. Oh, and thanks for watching.